This book is already shaping up to be one of the year's standout graphic novels. Let's talk about Drome. Hello, everyone. Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for the new graphic novel, Drome. This is a new solo graphic novel under the Macmillan adult graphic novel imprint from 23rd Street and First Second. This is created by Jesse Lonergan, writer, artist. It is one of the most ambitious endeavors I've seen in comic books in a long time, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is already setting up to be not only a standout for the year, but probably something that will end up on my best of 2025. I was able to read this ahead of time because I got to also talk to Jesse Lonergan in an episode of the I Read Comic Books podcast. I'll drop a link to that episode in the description of the video if you want to check that out. My buddy Mike and I have a really cool conversation with Jesse, not only about Drone, but also just about like some of the other things he's worked on, including what you can see here behind me, the Godzilla versus Boston book, some of the stuff that he did on New Gods, a whole lot of stuff. We get into it, but let's talk about Drone because that's what this video really is for me to make sure that I can let as many people as I know understand how great of a book this is and that you should pick it up. You do not want to miss out. If you haven't ordered at your shop, if you haven't ordered at your local library, if you haven't ordered it wherever you get your books, make sure to do that right now. So, this is a mythic, near silent epic about the birth of civilization. From the ocean, a demigoddess is summoned to curb humanity's violence and teach a new language of peace. A desert rises, but the fragile balance of between chaos and order is tested by capricious highest powers. Lonergan pushes comics form, structuring the book in bold colors, different movements, the big stage of war, love, and the cost of power. I had a great time reading this. Um, and the best thing I think is that when you guys get to read it, you'll get to read it in the physical format. I was able to check this out and digitally through a preview PDF, but I can't wait to get my hands on this book. Like, it's so cool to have a book that feels like it needs to be held like just in your hands to truly get it, right? And it explores some really cool areas of like the creation of myth, the drive between different people, civilization, what it costs to maintain the peace, order, balance, different outside forces just pushing in into our lives. Jesse Lonergan has a very distinct style when it comes to paneling, and I think one of the things that we talked about in the conversation we had was that the establishment of these rules, the layouts, like the way that the grid on the page is set up, and the way that maybe we play around with those things later on. This is a pretty long book. I believe it's around over 300 pages. Maybe not that much, but it's pretty long. But it flows so well. You get to see the story because it is silent. It allows you to just look at. Well, it's not fully silent, but mostly silent. There's not a lot of dialogue, so it really allows you to examine each of the panels, examine the pages, examine the art, and try to get everything, all the context that you want. It almost feels like these building blocks of life, of this civilization, of this environment that is being created. It's very cool. I think the exploration of the creation of language, a new lexicon for peace versus the cyclical cycle of violence that happens in humanity. Then, of course, order versus chaos. I mean, that is an exploration of things that, it shapes societies, it shapes rulers, it shapes kingdoms for all the time that humanity's been around. But also finding meaning in doing those things, right? Not only is maintaining peace great for the sake of peace, but also uh, how does that reflect in the bigger picture with humanity? I love that Jesse uses specific colors for different situations and characters. There's a very interesting design choice when it comes to a lot of these things, but it's really cool. Like as things are established, things kind of take shape, and the panel sizes increases or decreases according to the need. And it also really helps with the pacing of the book, right? A book that has a lot of little panels probably takes you a little bit longer to examine, but then you realize that you should slow down. Maybe you should take stuff in. But there are a few things that would be considered splash pages or bigger pages that really bring a lot of action and just like really highlight some of these things. It's a very very interesting way to approach the comic medium, and one of the reasons that I want to recommend this and make sure that people engage with stuff like this is because I want to make sure that you understand that the comics medium, like as much as I love superhero books and all the other stuff, like there's so much more to that you can do with this medium, and Jesse Lonergan is probably one of the best at exploring and pushing the boundaries of what you would call a comic book or a graphic novel. It's really really cool, and even then, like even these characters that you never truly get to know in full detail, you feel for them, you feel empathy for them, you feel like their story matters, you feel like the whole arc that they're going through, it really is meaning and is leading up to something. So I really like this book. There's so many things that I could talk about, and we do talk about a lot of those things on my interview, that episode that I was part of. So the episode should be out maybe in the same week as this video, so stay tuned for that. I'll definitely be promoting it on my socials because we get into a lot of details, and Jesse's such a cool creator. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it. Now, one thing that I did want to highlight is this book uh, is in a really cool hardcover format, but it is put out by First Second in 23rd Street, which is an imprint that not normally I look at their books. So definitely encouraging you to also take a look at some of the other imprints outside of the main, what you would call the mainstream comic publishers, because they have so much really cool things to offer, including books like Drome. So if you have read this, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. As always, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. You can check us out, and we have a Patreon. Also, Jesse has a Patreon in which you can see like process of all the projects that he's currently working on. And there's also a Kickstarter, which I'll drop a link below, to reprint a book of his called Faster, which I really, really, really enjoyed. And I would love to get this new reprint as well. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And stay tuned because we have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.